mic. There we go. We'll turn that off for right now. Hello, everybody. I think we are live. Let me know if you can hear me, and we will go from here. So we had some technical difficulties down at the studio. It's looking great, so can't wait to actually show you guys. But today Compass and I are gonna hang out. We're gonna chat a little bit of Crucible. There is a cat in the room making lots of noise, and I left my air conditioning on. So you guys I'll put on some music so you don't hear those annoying noises. Next week for sure. I shouldn't say for sure. Next week the goal is to be playing this game as AfterQuest down in the studio at 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
With the new studio and setup.
Yes, it is beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, it's amazing.
I'm excited to see it. So today we're blessed because Mr. Compass here has played a little bit more in Crucible, which is the RPG made for Foundry VTT, and he, I would say, is more experienced than myself. So I am so happy to have him here. I'm excited to make some characters with him, play around, check things out, whatever it happens to be. So once again, if you're watching, comment, chill, hang out, whatever is good for you guys. I'm not even sure this is working right this moment because I haven't streamed to YouTube on my own. So
if you could let us know,
yeah,
we'd be greatly
if
appreciative.
somebody would let us know. Yeah, how about that? Well, that's okay. I'm not going to mess it up.
Fine.
I don't see anything in the chat, so I'm assuming that we're all good, right?
Silence is agreeing.
I don't know if that's how that works.
I think it does in the court of law.
Oh, okay, but if we practice that on a stream, silence is agreeing would be difficult. So, so this is the alpha test. Downloaded Crucible RPG for Foundry VTT is amazing, in my opinion. You've been enjoying it?
Oh yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do. It'd be nice to see. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts about it. But without further ado, let's take a look at. What do you want to look at? Character creation for a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is the bearded hero of your dreams?
It would be a half-orc sorcerer.
All right, so let's
That's
go.
about it.
So we'll start everything with create an actor.
All right, so we're going to actors, create an actor. We're going to name him Bob.
All right, solid name, solid name. All right, so with Crucible, you start with choosing an ancestry. So if you go into there, they have Doublekin, Dwarven, Elvish, Giantkin, Gnome, Halfling, Human, and Orcish. So technically, they don't have a half-orc in there.
Not yet.
But creating an ancestry is very simple if you wanted to go through that process.
Oh, seriously?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't done that yet.
Okay, well...
Let's do this. Yeah, let's go the full deep here.
All right, so first, before we go into that, let's go into Human and then Orcish, so we can kind of get a general feeling about how things go. So... there's the descriptor for everything, but we're going to somewhat ignore that for now.
Okay.
You have a primary ability and a secondary ability.
Okay.
A primary ability, well, all stats start at 1, but ancestries, a primary ability, a stat starts at 3, and a secondary ability starts at 2. Reason why they don't say +2 or +1 is because this will modify-ish what your maximum will be for the stats. So, for example, most people can only have a 3 above their starting stat. So if its starting stat is 1, the highest you can have is a 4 at level 1.
Okay.
But for like an orc, primary ability is strength. So it would be 3 plus 3 would be 6. So his maximum could be 6.
Okay.
Compared to that of like the human, who their primary ability is a presence. So their maximum strength would just be a 4.
Okay.
So...
And excuse my Steam notifications. I forgot to exit Steam. Just ignore those.
Yeah,
lots of Baldur's Gate, I'm sure of it.
So primary ability, they have strength, secondary toughness, and then damage resistance and damage portability. The easiest way to explain that is it's not a static +5 or -5.
Okay.
So if you have a vulnerability of fire, that means that you would double the damage up to the vulnerability amount. So, for example, if you take 2 fire damage, if you're an orc, it would be 4 fire damage. If you took 5 fire damage, it would be 10 fire damage. But if you took 15 fire damage, you could only go up to the vulnerability. So it would be 15 then plus 5 for 20 fire damage.
Okay, interesting.
And then cats.
Oh,
Anyway, so damage resistance is basically the opposite way.
Okay.
So for a human, they don't have a damage resistance or a damage vulnerability. I think they're the only one who doesn't.
Okay.
Where the Orcish would have their stats of primary and secondary ability, and then damage resistance, damage vulnerability. So if you really wanted to create yourself half orc, then we can create the item of the ancestry and go from there.
So we actually go to
It will be an item.
correct button. There we go.
So create the item.
Oh, they have it already in there.
Well, it's the first category.
I know. I am pumped to see that it's like that well done already. So I have not had a chance to homebrew or play with anything like besides like the basic stuff. So I'm very excited to do this. Okay.
All right.
We can skip the description for now. I'm sure chat can come up with something really, really fancy. I am going to bring up chat in a different browser to see if we're missing anything, because I'm not sure how OBS works, to be honest with you. So
Fair enough.
give me a second while I play around with that. We could be missing a ton of stuff right now. We don't even know. Or nobody's even watching, and that's okay too.
Well, even if someone was watching and they didn't say anything, their silence is deafening.
Absolutely beautiful. Watch us not even do that.
It looks like the one on the right.
Oh, thank you. Look at that. Oh, it looks like it's working. And,
All right.
and even better, there's no chat. So, I love it. Cool.
All right. So, in your fantasy world, what is the primary ability of an orc? Oh, well, half orc, I should say.
Strength.
Strength, okay. And then secondary ability. So, I should have gone over abilities first.
Yeah.
But if you just go to the character sheet, you could just, I think you might be able to click behind it. Perfect. So, there's wisdom, strength, presence, toughness, intellect, and dexterity. A lot of it actually just kind of sounds like what it sounds.
Okay.
Wisdom is more of your, almost like nature-esque shamanist or a cleric, where a intellect would be more your hello cat where intellect is more of your arcane user, or just intellect type fighter.
You're gonna have all the cats now. That's okay.
But so
that's still kind of the basic. That's normal. I mean, that's
right,
pretty self-explanatory in a way.
It's basically taking the 6 stats of D&D and having a little bit difference in there.
Okay.
At least that's kind of how my feeling of it
Yeah.
went. So
I like that.
Yeah, presence they've just replaced with charisma.
Right. Which I mean, that's because of an open legend. That kind of fits presence of charisma. Is similar.
I personally like it better because it's like if you could get a for me, it's like if you could get a solid separation between their ability to affect others and their looks.
Yeah.
It just makes it so much easier.
That's true.
Because there is a difference about how to use those. Some systems work on it really well, some don't.
Yeah.
So I just like the quick put a difference and go on your merry way.
Awesome.
So in the same regard, you can kind of go off of the primary, secondary abilities, and we can really delve into it later, I think.
Yeah.
I think right now.
So the reason I do have the secondary already in my head is I was actually going to do presence.
Presence, all right.
Because I have the human-like qualities of the presence. So you're gaining the strength of the presence. Now, do you suggest against that?
Well, the only thing I would say is if you really want to go heavy into the sorcerer line, intellect would be something that would be somewhat preferable.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, it's not like you have to.
But then you're min-maxing, right?
Right. But at the end of the day, how important is that? I don't think it's like the most important thing. But then again, I've gone away from the power gaming days.
Right, and I'm not a power gamer either.
Right.
But for the sake of the stream and my cats that are gonna have to get kicked out, get that out of your mouth. Stinking kittens, chewing on cords. You get in trouble. Let's do intellect just to play around with it.
All right. And then, do you imagine that the half orc is weak or strong versus anything in the world? There's many options. Just click on the drop down.
Okay, thank you. Now, sometimes it is showing. Cool. Sometimes drop menus don't always show, so I'm glad to see it's working.
Terrifying.
All right, so, oh boy, Interesting.
Oh yeah, there's some in here that I couldn't quite tell you everything about, especially when it comes to what they consider like the major runes, which go more towards the mind or like psychic void and so forth.
Okay. God bless you.
Thank you. But the rest of them are pretty self-explanatory. Corruption is basically negative,
Okay.
while radiant is positive.
Okay. When I think of a half orc in my world, it's funny, I don't picture a lot of them having resistances.
Well, you could just leave both on none.
Yeah.
They could take a part of the human aspect of just
I might leave
being
that as none.
versatile. All right, well, save it.
Okay.
And then feel free to drag that half orc on over.
That's it?
Yep, that's it.
That was way too easy.
Everything is just calculated in the background.
That's really handy. That's really wonderful.
Oh yeah. So, as you level up, those damage resistances and vulnerabilities do increase.
Okay.
So that is something to keep in mind.
That is interesting. Okay. And that's a good way to round out a party too, in a way, right? Because if you, with different classes and stuff.
I would say that it's wonderful to round out because you can look at all the ancestries and no matter what you create, it will be balanced.
Okay.
Because
That's fun.
yeah.
That's good to know too.
And one key thing about it is that the vulnerabilities and resistances balance out. So do enemies.
Okay.
Something to keep in mind.
And maybe if you wouldn't mind helping me create an antagonist today.
But you can go for it.
Cool. If you have time.
Yeah.
All right. So next, I'm assuming is choose background.
Yep.
Now, looking at the character sheet, the aesthetics. First of all, I enjoy the simplicity of this. To me, it seems simple, and like the alerts. And I know this will probably change over time, but it looks like you kind of just move from left to right. Obviously, this you can't do. I believe I remember. Yeah, you can't do it till later, but you move left to right, right? Correct.
Right. Once all the orange is gone on the character sheet, then that last little orange gets you to level 1.
That's awesome. All right, so we're going to go to choose background. Now, what do I picture for Bob? I think Bob was a soldier. That's
All right.
simple. Now, go ahead.
Let's pull up soldier and let's go into the details.
Oh, yeah, let's look at him. Sorry, I just went after the name. I was like,
That's all fine. All right. So,
can I make this bigger?
unfortunately, no.
Okay.
But it looks like the acquired skills for soldiers: Beastcraft, Pathfinding, Intimidation, and Survival. The reasons why they choose them, I'm sure there's a reason.
Well,
But
Beastcraft probably because you're going to be working horses and stuff as a soldier. That's my assumption, right? Beastcraft. Am I
that makes sense to
assuming
me.
that right?
Because you're dealing with beast of burden in war.
Right, exactly. Pathfinding is literally like making your way through. And
Yeah.
then intimidation, survival, both make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, if you get cut off from your army buddies, you got to find your way back. And then they get the acquired talent of martial weapon training. So whenever they're using a simple, heavy, or balanced weapon in their hand, melee, they get a +1 skill bonus to the attack roll.
What is balanced? That's a newer term. Like simple and heavy makes sense to me. But what is balanced?
I'm sorry, I can't remember.
That's fine. That's cool.
I'm sure we can look it up in the compendium.
Yeah, we'll look that up
but-
in a little bit.
But those acquired skills are basically you're trained, like in Pathfinder 2.
Okay.
So I think if you're not trained in something, you get a -4 to it, and if it's trained, it becomes like a +0.
Okay. Interesting.
But we could go over that later.
Yeah, I love it. Now, the numbers in the background are all calculated for you in the system, which is nice in a way for a very busy GM or even the players who don't want to crunch the numbers. They just want to play. Right? And that fits well within this.
Oh, very well.
Okay.
Very well.
See?
So, the first tab we're already on is attributes.
Okay.
So, just to go over.
Oh, that's right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
To go over it really quickly, you could put your cursor over each one of those things, like health, morale, and it tells you how it comes about.
Oh, okay.
6
All right.
times level, +4 times toughness.
Well, that's simple.
+2 times, I forget
I
what
was
the
trying to
other
make
one
this
was.
wider, but I guess I can't.
Unfortunate. Maybe you could pop it out, and then we can expand that.
But I might lose the screen.
Ah.
So we're gonna stay here for now. All right. So health, morale, action, wounds, madness, and focus.
Right. So health and morale are basically your fortitude versus physical attacks, and then your fortitude versus mental. Because if your morale breaks, you're not going to be much in the way of thinking of combat. Your mind is broken. You're dealing with the stress.
Oh, I
of
love
all.
it. That's fantastic.
Actions are going to be, even though they don't show it right now, is 3 actions. It's very similar to the action economy of Pathfinder 2e.
Which I love.
I do too.
So I'm really grateful to see that and hear that.
Wounds and madness, I couldn't tell you for absolute certainty, but my understanding is that when you go down, those are going to be determining if you go completely insane or you die to your wounds.
Oh, interesting.
So once your health goes, then it starts going into wounds. Once your morale goes, then it starts going into madness.
Okay.
Because you can have a temporary madness, as some systems would call it, but it's not going to have a lasting effect. If it keeps going, it's going to have a much worse effect.
Okay, I appreciate that because I think that is something that madness lacks in some of the systems, and so I like that idea of that meshing.
And then the last one is focus. Focus points are, if you're familiar with D&D, that would be similar to, I guess, a combination between spell slots and how many times you could use something a day.
Okay.
So, for example, with focus, you would use it for reactionary attacks, which would be opportunity attacks.
Oh boy. So that's a nice limitation on opportunity attacks. Sorry, I'm processing combat right now, and I do this because I'm nuts. And that's a really cool limitation to put, because we all love attack of opportunities, right?
Right, of course.
But I also love Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and now Starfinder 2nd Edition, where you're able to move around the battlefield a lot more without always taking that hit. And this is going to limit that a little bit.
Yes.
Okay.
We will be getting into that
Sorry.
fully. And then focus is also used for spell casting in a way. Because most spells, unless you go for certain, I guess what you could consider like meta magic, each spell would normally cost like 1 or 2 actions and then a focus point.
Okay.
So it's a drain both on the fighter and on a magic user too.
And that's how they balance it.
Right.
Okay.
I've been playing a spell sword, so I have to be very careful about that.
Okay.
So my focus is going to be tied to my spell casting, but also if I wanted to opportunity attack, that would take it as way as well.
Wow.
I've been doing a long sword and ceremonial dagger build, but that's something we can get into later.
Yeah.
So abilities. So wisdom, strength, presence, toughness, intellect, and dexterity. How much you want to go into it?
I mean, I am enjoying every ounce of this. So,
All right.
I mean, I think my question is, as I look across these, you explained a little bit earlier of some of them. Is it the same as most of them? Wisdom is typically like a wisdom stat, right?
Right.
Presence is the charisma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Intellect is intel.
That's right.
So these are, we don't have to go, toughness is your fortitude or...
Right. But
Okay.
there is a little bit of differences. Like if you go back to health and put your cursor over that,
Yeah.
you'll notice that it is 4 times toughness and then plus 2 times strength.
Okay.
Physical things interact with each other. Mental things interact with each other. And
Once
so forth.
again, very similar to Open Legend RPG in a way, because they have a lot of the defense scores are put together via 2 attributes.
Exactly.
Wow, I love it. If you guys haven't had a chance, obviously our channel enjoys Open Legend RPG. Go check it out. It's free. You'll hear us reference it, just because we like that. Thank you, Great Mustache, for that system. Now, going back to this. So madness is morale 1.5.
Right.
So it's
So-
okay.
So you don't really have to think about the madness and wounds. Put your cursor over focus. I forget what it is. That is wisdom, presence, and
Ooh.
intellect
Oh, I love it.
divided by 2.
Oh, this reminds me. It's a druid's table. You have to look for it later. There was a homebrew of spell slots or focus like this that had a similar build of the adding of those 3 stats. But we're going to drop that for right now because that is not why we're here. We are here for Crucible.
Yeah, we're not here to justify our actions. All right.
I love that. All right, so I'm picturing Bob. He already has quite a bit of strength,
Right.
and that's him. He's going to be a little tough from the half-orc, right?
All right.
But definitely got some intellect because he was raised by his human mother. And she was very much into the books, Baba. The books. So I'm going to put up 4.
Oh, I mean, you could go 1 higher if you so wanted to.
I don't know. Cat, are you serious? Look, steal my dinosaur. Get over here. All right, you're going to hang out here. Let me part of the stream. There. Can you guys see this kitty? Naughty little thing. All right. Stay here. And then it's funny because I think of a sorcerer, and maybe I'm doing something wrong.
No, keep going.
As presence-based or charisma-based.
Now, I can't tell you for absolute certainty, but feel free to put points into it, and we can come back to it later. So it is something that if you wanted to change your points around, even after you level up, it's simple enough.
Because I'm picturing like a little bit innate fire spells, and a little bit innate. Because obviously for me the sorcerer is very innate in your blood, the hatred in his blood from being an orc, or the anger in his blood from being an orc, kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know the talent tree enough because I haven't really built a lot of magical characters. So I know we're gonna get there in a minute. So I'm going to drop one in presence, but I might come back and fix it. That's my long story there.
That is perfectly fine.
So how many points do I have left?
You have 5 available points
Boy,
left.
I have a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So if I did something like this, and this, and this... Oh boy, I still have one
1
left.
point.
Oh man.
Dexterity is a decent, nice one.
Because dexterity helps your defense.
It will help your defense. It helps your reflex. It kind of helps, I think, focus as well.
Okay. Boom.
All right.
No, it doesn't help focus.
Oh, I was
That's
wrong
okay.
on that.
No, that's
Oh,
good.
well.
I wanted to double check because I'm still learning.
All right. So let's go over the skills because I think you will have 2 skill points to spend.
I have
So-
2 skill points to spend. Thank you.
All right. So the skills are separated into different categories, which honestly are pretty self-explanatory, which are really nice. So you have exploration skills, ones that you'd use while exploring or finding people. You have knowledge skills, ones that you would know by calling upon your intellect. Social skills, ones that you would be for interacting with others, and then technical skills, which I don't know a better way to put it, but just it technically works. But-
Savage.
Anyway, so
I'm quickly looking over this, and this is something Dan and we noticed right away, and I'm not sure how it works. And I'm sure you do. First of all, every one of them seems to have 2 stats that
Yes.
are linked to it. Yes.
yes, so those stats, like, it takes both of them and then divides them by 2. So it takes the average of the 2.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's cool.
So for example, your strength and dexterity,
Yeah.
if you actually, I think if you put your cursor over the +3, I think it will break it down for you. So
Oh, okay.
it does
Plus enchantment.
right. So half of strength and dex, and then with your bonus, and then enchantment, which I haven't dealt with enchantment yet, but
Okay.
I imagine some items may give you bonuses.
Okay. Awesome. So now, why is this grayed out? Because how am I already not? Oh, okay. I know why. I'm gonna answer this myself. Duh. This all comes from my soldier background.
That's right.
Awesome. So now I'm connecting the dots there. So is it already at rank? It says on novice, but unspecialized.
So if you could just click on the gear icon on one of the skills. So
Boom.
yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot to it.
That's awesome.
But it's kind of nice because you are a novice in intimidation. You have
Yep.
been practicing the art of threatening others for some time, and if there's one thing you've learned, it's how to use aggression to get what you want. You know how to use simple displays of violence and overt threats to get others to follow your lead, but you aren't very subtle. So it's something to kind of keep in mind about your character. He's a novice in the skill and doesn't know all the intricacies of it. Once he gets to apprentice intimidation, however, he knows the more subtle ways to force others into agreement or dominate them into submission.
Okay.
Frequently, others wait, making their decisions only after you have seen which path that you will take. So there is a little bit of, I guess, what some systems would call feats baked into the skill rankings of the skills, because if I remember correctly, under Arcana there is a, well, actually I could be wrong on that, but like under Awareness, I think once you're a novice or apprentice, it is assumed that your character always looks for the way out of a room. So it's not like you have to ask your player if their character is doing that. It's assumed that they're already doing so because their character is so honed into it.
Okay.
Um,
I like that. That's very unique. Okay.
But then the third one, Specialist Intimidation. This is what I was talking about for the specialization path. So once you get 3 points into a skill, you become specialized.
Let's scroll down a little bit. Oh,
Exactly, for the specialization. Oh, there we go. That makes it a little bit easier. So then you can become oppressor, extortionist, or operator. Would you like to go into them?
Yeah, I'm reading them as you talk a little bit here because I'm crazy. But I'm kind of getting that, oppressors are oppression. Extortionist is going to be the one that art of leverage and stuff like that. And then the operator is subtle, provoking fear and aggression in others. Interesting. That's really cool. But at level 1, we're not going to reach that far, right?
Right.
I mean, that's...
I think you can get there
Oh,
by
what is
level
that?
2 or 3.
Oh, this is how you...
You can,
oh, man.
You
that's...
can up it or
oh.
decrease it from there.
Wow. Okay. Oh, wow. That's cool. That is cool. Wow. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
They have... For this being an alpha, they have a lot already well handled. I don't know. I'm really enjoying it. So...
Yeah, they definitely made Foundry VTT in such a way that they used every aspect of it, and once we get to talent tree, it's amazing.
Now, I didn't look too hard, but I was trying to create a Beastmaster, but I didn't see anything in the talent tree that allowed me to have an animal. Do you know where that is?
Go into Beastcraft itself. If you go into the gear of it.
Oh, and that's probably what I did wrong, is I wasn't looking here.
That's Tradecraft.
Oh, thank you. I'm like, wait, that doesn't look right.
Yeah.
My contacts are drying out. Sorry.
All right. So if you go under the specialization paths, like Cavalier, if you...
Okay, ride in a saddle, their own feet. They learn to fight from horseback. In all aspects of caring for their mounts, they learn to fight in concert with their chosen beasts to train them, treat their wounds, and nurture the special bond they have formed. A cavalier's mount is more than just a pet, it is a comrade in arms.
Exactly.
And that doesn't have to be a horse, then.
Exactly. It could be any beast they so desire. Now, I will say that I don't know they have any specific stats for such a thing.
Okay.
So it's something that even our own game is a little bit of a kind of testing and going from there.
Okay.
The,
Because I have many characters I really enjoy playing, and one of them is a druid. So and that's, I like having a wolf pets or whatever it may be, so I'll have to see how that develops. You know what I mean?
Right. I would say that if you wanted a pet from the very get-go, there isn't a talent for it, so it is something that you would just work with your DM to work with.
For now.
Right.
I'm sure that'll change.
So, yeah, you would just treat the pet as a NPC of sorts that you
Okay.
may or may not lose to the DM's discretion.
So for now, though, we're not building the druid. This character, Bob's a little different. Bob is... So, looking at all of these, Bob would probably have a little of intimidation. Because he went into the army. It just really makes sense. I want to stick with that. So I bump this button.
Right.
Like that. Okay. So now if we look at intimidation, that went up to the apprentice intimidation like we looked before. That is cool.
Yep.
And then I have one more point to spend.
Just remember that when you did bump it up by 1, your skill in it, I think, went up by 2. So if you put it back down to 1...
right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have a +4, and then when you go up, it's a +6.
Because the math is half of strength and presence plus bonus, which is the 2.
Which I believe it would be the +2 in that regard.
Okay.
But because if you go to like diplomacy, it's a -2, despite it being wisdom and presence. If I remember correctly, something that you are untrained in is a -4.
Okay.
Trained is +0, and then the one after that is +2.
Okay. And that makes more sense because quickly, when Dan and I were playing around with it, we were trying to figure out why this jump doesn't make sense, and we didn't read into it right then and there. So it sounds like what you're saying was -4, 0, +2.
Exactly.
Interesting. Okay.
I think it's very similar to Pathfinder 2e in that regard.
Yes.
If it was the alpha or the live rules, I can't remember.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing is with this person, is naturalism going to be the fire?
So you don't have to roll any knowledge skills. So in theory, he could be completely inept in his actual knowledge of such arts.
Okay.
So naturalism, if you go into the skill,
I keep doing that. Sorry.
Don't worry about it.
You are utterly disinterested in nature.
And have no knowledge of the natural world other than what you might encounter daily.
Oh.
But then if you go into novice naturalist, You have a reasonable capacity of reading cloud patterns, predict the weather, interpret the behavior of animals. You know what preparations can be made to reduce the impact of environmental conditions on yourself and your party. You can identify and separate the signs of particular common life from monstrous creatures.
Man, okay. So I got to be careful because I'm not seeing these the way they need to be seen. Interesting.
Right.
Let me look. Oh, go ahead.
Skills and talents are completely separated.
I see that. And that was my problem as I was putting them together.
Now, attributes tie into everything, though.
Correct. Okay. So, my character. I got intimidation. What is mentalism? Let's look. At this.
Mercantilism.
Oh, my contacts are really bad right now. You are unfamiliar with the workings of the market. My character wouldn't know the marketplace, so I'm going to just bloop that.
Well, we could kind of just go through these in order if you so wish.
Sure.
Awareness, which is basically your notice.
Okay.
So finding things in your environment, like if someone was sneaking into your camp.
Okay.
Pathfinding, that is for the basics of pathfinding. What represents abilities to climb, run, jump, swim, analyze terrain, and otherwise conquer barriers in movement.
Okay.
That's good to remember. Stealth, hide effectively, move without sound, disguise oneself, otherwise use your environment to hide your presence. It's much easier if you just read from the very top of it, as
Up
I'm
here?
learning right now.
Oh. Okay.
And create shelter where there's none, identify which water is safe to drink,
yeah.
which is not, locate sources of food, even the most inhospitable places.
Food. That's going to be...
Well, you're already trained in survival.
I see that. I know. But I double dipped on the intimidation, too. So,
That is true. You could so go into that.
Arcana...
A study of magic,
magic.
metaphysics,
Okay.
and the arcane.
See, I thought these were extremely self-explanatory, which some of them are normal kind of thing, spirits, deities, religion-based.
I will say that the ones that really make me have to rethink things is the exploration skills. Because, like, pathfinding being jumping and swimming, I guess I can understand why they chose that, but it just seems so strange to me. Which, I guess it is one of those, it's going along the path.
Yeah.
Which, to my mind, I have to kind of just translate into my head.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Right. So, I guess it's one of those, if you're going for that physical build, pathfinding would be something that would be really good.
Right. But also awareness. The
Yeah.
mixture of, like, soldier... Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Well, you do already have a 1 in there, so you could just
Yeah.
become skilled in awareness.
But part of... Yeah, I don't know. We'll stick with this for now. I like the path.
All right.
And the last one I did want to look at medicine. Just because my mind kept... Not for my character, more because I want to know what it is. So medicine is used most commonly as a skill to treat injury and disease in other people. But it is a specific subset of biological study that takes a holistic view toward treatment and maintenance of physical and mental health of others. Those who practice medicine are most commonly healers, surgeons, counselors, of apothecaries, and dedicated their lives to the study of the body and mind. So right now, you are not particularly skilled, even the basics of treating a wound. So my thought, being in the soldier, I always think everybody gets treated in the basics of doing a wound.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't stop me from rolling this.
That
Right?
is true.
I can roll this.
Right.
Oh, there's a -4.
Now, one thing, if you close that
Yep.
and go into medicine and look at the gear, you just have to remember that each skill, there is certain things about it. Like, for example, once you get into like apprentice medicine, you know many common ailments and the most effective way to treat and cure them. You're confident in your abilities to treat most wounds without risk of infection, have sufficient understanding of surgical practices to perform the most common surgeries without assistance. With adequate time to study and research, you could likely diagnose and treat illnesses that you have never encountered before. You're familiar with prevailing theories of mental illness, and you know how to identify the signs of advancing madness in others, and how to alleviate the symptoms of some of the more common infestations of the mind. One thing to keep in mind is that last sentence. You are familiar with the prevailing theories of mental illness and know how to identify the signs of advancing madness in others. So if you take that in regard, that means your untrained medicine, you have no idea.
Yeah.
So in theory, you shouldn't even have a role. At least that's how I interpret it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those of if there's some in the sentence before that, with adequate time to study and research, you could likely diagnose and treat illnesses that you've never encountered before. So same regard. If you're untrained, you have no idea. It's just something to keep in mind. You won't be able to roll for everything, but for the basics, you should be able to. It just
Okay.
doesn't mean you'll be good at it.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. And that's a big jump between novice and apprentice.
Well, we were going from untrained to apprentice.
But all of it, even that's a pretty big jump, in my opinion.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Because now you're getting more of the mental stuff. I don't know. That's very interesting to me. Yeah, I like it. We're gonna jump to talents.
All right. Let's get into the pretty picture mode.
I know. I love this. I think this is really cool.
Oh, yeah.
This is. I don't know. Have you ever played Path of Exile? Or heard of it at least?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have.
And the tree, and they can like branch out, and the.
It's been too long. I'm sorry.
It's so cool though, because it's like Diablo 2,
Right.
but there's a tree, and you can. It just reminds me of this. Everything's color coded. If we zoom out, I don't even know if you can see it on stream because of the color.
Yeah, the color, unfortunately, I think it's too grayed out.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's like you look at it, it's like, yes, I could kind of tell the colors, but when everything's like, I don't know, 70% dark, it's really hard
It probably
to tell.
pops a lot more when you start filling it out in a way.
Yeah, I just kind of memorized them.
Nice.
So
I know on stream it might be hard to see, but in here is red, and that represents strength, correct?
right.
And then yellow is toughness.
Yep.
Dexterity.
Green is
Green.
dexterity.
And this is like a teal, I'd say, right?
I think that's right.
And this represents intellect.
Yep.
And then up here we have a blue,
Which is presence.
presence,
And
and then a purple.
is wisdom.
And now, when there's like midlines, and this represents mixing of them.
Right.
Okay.
So in that regard, the mixing between strength and wisdom is what you can look at as a monk line.
Ah.
So if you go into the first in between them, go there. You have martial artist,
stunning strike, and zealous smite. So it kind of hits into the.
So it goes into like a monk and the paladin
Yeah,
ish.
interesting. Very interesting. So
Alright.
my character has opposite stuff.
Well, this is actually what I wanted to check out first.
Yes.
You were wanting to see if presence had something to do with any sort of sorcery thing.
Correct.
So since that is the most northward for presence,
This,
yes,
Is-
I want you to go to the very end of it.
the very end of it. Okay.
Right.
Oh, is there a way? Oh, cool. Okay.
So if you bring your cursor over those talent trees,
Does it matter? Hit the center one first.
yeah,
Okay.
you could go for that. So
Dreadlord.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
and Nosferatu.
Okay.
So one thing to keep in mind is that those prerequisites is toughness of
Oh.
5 and presence of 5.
Okay.
One interesting thing is that if you look over into the toughness line, you'll find those same exact ones in toughness, which is at the very bottom.
This one.
No, very bottom.
Oh, complete opposite.
Yeah. So Nosferatu. So it will actually
Oh my
circle
gosh.
about.
Okay.
So in theory,
So this is the prereq is or toughness 5 or presence 5
no, it's
and wow. Okay.
So-
and level 5.
right. But you will get an attribute point each level. So in theory, as long as you didn't go too out there with your stat distribution at the very beginning, you should be able to
Interesting.
get those.
Okay.
It's sort of like you kind of have to somewhat pre-plan your character, but
So-
it's not the worst thing in the world.
Right. So I'm kind of curious.
But I wanted to go back
Oh,
up
sorry.
to presence
Okay.
because I want to look at all those.
Okay.
See-
I was thinking the same thing. Okay.
Because let's see if we can find any that is presence intellect.
So I see presence wisdom, presence dexterity, presence toughness,
Presence
presence
strength,
strength.
and presence intellect.
Okay.
So,
let me-
tactician and war
War
mage.
mage. Mm.
So that might be something you may
I
want
was
to
gonna say
go
war
for.
mage almost feels right.
Right. So for this war mage, it gains a +2 boons to any counterspell attempt, which boons is almost like advantage.
Okay.
It's a 3d8 system,
Yeah.
and so each boon increases the die size by 1, where a bane will decrease the die size by 1. And
Okay.
So with a +2 boons, it'll be instead of having 3d8, it'll be 2d8 plus 1d12.
Oh wow. Okay. Interesting.
Right.
And what's the target to beat when you're rolling something? But that's varying.
That's varying.
So it's not like Savage Worlds where you're just like most of the time you're trying to beat a 4.
Right. So this
Okay.
is more of a contestant type system.
Ooh, I like that though. So now if I go to War Mage in the presence, it's exactly the same. or in intellect?
As long as you're able to get there, you're fine.
Okay.
We could probably show them how to do the lines for how the talent tree works.
Which one was intellect again? Sorry.
Top right.
This one.
Yep.
Oh, it shares it. This is a shared one.
Right.
Okay.
So it's a lot on the line, and so it would make sense for it being there.
So right now, my character was strength and intellect.
Yep.
So let's look at. This is interesting. So I've never looked that far ahead, but I realize it's extremely beneficial to actually look at these outer little spots, right?
I believe so.
I mean, that's what I'm getting. Oh, one thing, Spellblade.
And that's what mine is.
Okay. So I was not picturing him as a Spellblade. So I'm gonna kind of look around a little bit because I think I'm gonna change my character a little bit more.
All right.
Out of just curiosity, intellect and wisdom, conjurer, but not quite what I was looking for yet either. Arcane archer, that's cool. Poisoner, assassin.
Could you go back to that
Yes.
intellect toughness one? One more up. Oh,
This one?
yeah. Go in there. What are your choices? The fulcrum.
Oh, you redirect the force of a melee attack.
All right. So I don't think that would be it. But the operator, I wanted to double
Ice
check
in
on
your
that one.
veins and remain cool under pressure. Your physical toughness and mental acuity.
And mental acuity.
Thank you.
Allows you to hone the danger of your situation to achieve the greatest results when the stakes are highest. While in combat and not incapacitated, you gain +1 boon to all checks when you have less than 50% of your maximum health remaining. You gain +2 boons to all checks when you have less than 25% of your maximum health remaining. And a little bit of me kind of screams that whole orc ferocity.
Yeah, I'm sorry, and I didn't realize that until just like now. I had the same kind of yeah. Oh.
So if you want to go with, he doesn't have like the, I guess the
strength, but it's the toughness.
right. So he could be a tough spellcaster.
See, I like that. And okay, so these are some spells.
Right.
And I noticed there's multiple ways. Oh,
So if you want to go
why
in,
is this not moving? Come on.
oh, that's really interesting. It is an alpha, so you may want to close it, and then get back.
Try that
into
again.
It. Yeah.
That's okay. But while I'm here, I actually, as we're just talking, oh no, I can't edit it. It's locked. There we go.
You can do that.
Strength. Oh, okay. So that's because of my background.
Well, because of your ancestry, which of course you could just change it.
I could. Yeah.
So instead of being a primary strength, maybe you want to be a primary toughness.
Yeah. Actually. Wow, this is really cool. It's very deep, which I did not expect it to be that deep. Just double checking things real quick, making sure that everybody's all set.
It does have a bit of deepness in it, but once you understand it, everything just interconnects to it.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it's not a stressful deepness.
Yeah.
It's just a very enjoyable deepness in a weird way.
Because especially when you can see all the numbers auto-calculate for themselves, it's a fun little way, at least for me who loves math, who just gets to see all those different numbers go in and out depending on what you're doing.
So the presence was kind of a waste.
Oh,
Sorry.
it is a... Well, first off, let's take that half work that you modified in your items and bring it back onto your character.
Because it didn't update.
Right, it's going off of the old one.
That's cool. That's good to know, though. So we're going to bloop, bloop,
There you go.
bloop.
So it automatically updated and you're good to go.
Nice.
All right. One thing to keep in mind about presence, wisdom, strength, even though you may not consider them very important, they could still be pretty decent because while having all this low stats, your morale is a 10, which if you go back into morale, see how it's calculated. It's by presence and wisdom. You are very easy to crack.
Okay.
So if someone is trying to frighten you, if someone's trying to wheedle you down for stress, they can make you get out.
Okay. So I do want to, because I wanted a little bit of presence. It just felt right. Part of the intimidation side, too. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And I know it's not quite that build that way, but...
Now, one thing to also keep in mind is your fortitude, willpower, and reflex have changed a bit as well.
Yes, I did see that. Wounds is way up there, though. Look at that.
Well,
oh, it's health. Okay.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So toughness and strength, because you have such a high toughness.
My
it's going
focus
along.
is at... Okay, and so this would also change my skills.
Right. So...
Let's take a look here.
Whew, pathfinding took a hit.
Yeah, it did.
It's a +4 now. But hey,
I don't know. It just felt right, though.
Keep it.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it for now.
There's no reason not to.
This is really fun to mess around with, for sure. There's so much little things to think about. Oh, so I still get this even though I don't get it?
Because it's part of your background. Even if you
Okay.
don't have the requirements, I think it still calculates.
So that's really cool. Because I still like... I know it's weird. My half-orc...
Now, one thing
Go
I
ahead.
will say, I think it was in one of their streams, is that it having the background having a talent is a temporary solution. Because what they want to do is backgrounds having unique things that you can't get in the talent tree or skills.
So their own thing,
Right.
is what you're saying.
At the moment, it's just a talent, though.
Okay.
I think it is something they want to change.
So, but for right now, this is what I get, period.
Right. So when you're swinging a weapon, you'll get a +1.
Which I like that, though, because it really does fit the soldier background.
Now, you could, if you go under the toughness, which is the south, there is those two. So there is shield bash and then shield training. So maybe shield training instead. But then you could go for the other one as well. There is a bulwark and then intercept. Intercept, I believe, was basically interpose. If you've ever played a system like that.
Yeah.
And then bulwark, I can't remember. You can use the defend action for free instead of a free move action once per turn.
Oh.
Right. I forgot to mention, when you're using actions, you get 1 free movement. Well, it's basically -1 action movement. So if
Okay.
you use like a movement that costs 2 actions, it will become 1. But regardless, you get 1 free action of movement per round.
Okay.
If you are in heavy armor, that goes away.
Okay.
Bulwark, it makes it so that you can use that free action for a defend instead of a movement.
Okay.
So if you're going a heavy armor route,
Yep.
which you may not even have the free movement anymore,
Right.
you can take bulwark and use that free movement instead for your free defend. So you can always push up your shield when you have even 0 actions left.
Wow. Okay.
So if you wanted to do something like that, we can go in and make a background for you.
Right.
So,
So it could be like a soldier background with the shield training,
right.
essentially. Because that... But... Or I just get the shield training.
You could do that.
But now... Oh, man, it's so interesting. Because I like the idea of...
Oh, I don't know if... thinking about it, I'm
shield
not
training
sure.
might not be one, right?
Right, because you need a free hand for spell casting, which you can use a focus item, such as a dagger, wand, orb, that type of thing. I'm over here thinking.
Mm-hmm. So for spell casting... So this is...
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead.
Here's one suggestion then. Under strength. Hello, kitty cat.
He's got 2 cats on his lap.
All right. So this actually could be something that's different then.
Yes.
For strength, the south of that one. No. There you go. There is not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one. Where is it? Well, actually, no. Go back into the other one. Maybe I'm just missing
This
it.
one?
Yeah. Distracting, no. That can't be it. Swipe, no. Heavy strike, no. Uppercut, no. Oh, okay. I think I might know. It's over here.
This one?
Yeah. So this would be maybe too far, but go one right. Strong grip. No? Where was it?
I like that you started memorizing some of these.
Well, I remember one of our players did it, and it was so cool. It basically, it made it so that he could cast a spell even with a even if his hands are full. Was it strength? It may have not been strength.
That's what I'm wondering. I wonder if it's like... Thick skin...
Well,
Well, maybe it's under intellect?
I don't think so. I've been going
I'm on the
pretty
wrong
heavily. No, you're right. That's
Oh.
the right one. That's just the more non-magic side.
Yeah.
The one right above it's the more magical one, and that's
okay.
where most of your minor
Okay,
runes
yeah,
are.
yeah.
All right. Well, it doesn't look like it's one of the starting ones, so it's not like you'd be
Yeah.
able to choose it anyway.
So I like the shield, but I can't... I didn't realize I needed a focus, so...
Well, you needed a free hand. A focus weapon, or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
makes it so you can use the regain focus action.
Okay.
So
So this will...
give you +1 skill bonus to attacks using simple.
Oh,
heavy.
simple. So that could be a dagger. That could be a staff. That could be a spear.
Right.
Okay.
So you could use it.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to take shield training. And then I want to take something in the magical realm now. So that's going to be up in here, right?
Well, that...
Oh, wrong one.
Yeah,
That's
there you
presence.
So, Rune of Flame, which uses your
Ooh,
intellect...
Lightning, though.
So, both
Sorry.
use your intellect to target reflex in that one. This uses your intellect to target fortitude. I mean, Rune
Right.
being death.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah. I think my character would be flame.
Alright. Well, that is
But
all
that's
your points
all
right
I
now.
get, though.
Right, because you're so split in a lot of
I'm
ways.
just kind of look.
Yeah,
But that's
it's
okay to
perfectly
be
fine.
split, right?
Yeah, it's perfectly fine to be split. But it is one of those things to keep in mind. If you do really want to go towards that level 5, I forget what they're called. but-
These little end ones here.
Right. If you do really want to go for one of those, you got to make sure to be able to get to there.
Okay. So if I wanted to go to operator, I need to really start dropping my next. How many points do you get to level up?
I think you get 2 points per level up.
So and these are 1 point each.
Yes. So in theory, it's not the worst thing in the world. So
Okay.
you
So
just-
next turn, I could easily get like I can't
or
do it.
you could even just wait till level 3 and then choose one from there, and then choose from one from the level 3 ring.
Okay.
So it's not like it's.
Oh, I don't have to choose one to go here.
No, you do have to
Oh,
choose one,
sorry,
but
okay.
you don't have to choose one every single level.
Okay. But by level 5, so actually,
So in theory, all you need
Oh.
is 3 points towards it. 3 more points, I should say.
so on each level you get 2.
Yeah.
Oh, so I could hit that even by putting a couple in here still.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what I was saying. It's pretty feasible. It's just something to keep in mind.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. I'm excited. All right. So now we have Bob. Cool. And then I just hit this button.
Exactly.
Level 1.
And now you're level
Now
1.
3 is experience or advancement progress, as they have it here.
Right.
It's a little different.
It's kind of a mixture between XP and milestones, because each level it becomes progressively more XP to level up. So I believe it's 3 XP to get to level 2, 5 XP to get to level 3, 7 XP to get to level 4, but it resets every time.
Mm-hmm.
So it is, you start from 0 at the beginning of every level.
Okay. That's kind of cool. So it's like, as a GM, you're going to build big story moments where they gain an experience point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so depending on
kinda-
how you want to do it, our little campaign is we're just leveling up each time, so we're not really thinking about.
But you're just
XP.
playing around with it. You're
Right.
getting, I mean, kind of like what I was going to do with you guys.
Yeah, a little short
Yeah.
campaign type
Yeah,
thing.
just kind of blast it away. All right. I built Bob. Is there anything about Bob that I need to do right now?
Inventory.
Oh, duh.
All right. So let's go over to the compendiums.
Whoop. Wrong one. Whoop. Okay.
Crucible.
Crucible.
All right. So let's start with armor first.
Okay. Light. None of those.
Well, you are perfectly able to use any of the light, medium, or
Interesting.
heavy.
And is there penalties to?
There
It's
might
magic?
be certain talent. Well, not certain. Sorry. There might be certain talents that limit you on light, medium, or heavy armor, but I don't think you have any. And then heavy armor, you can't use your free movement.
Okay. So I think my character would probably do like heavy hides.
Okay.
I just like that, the thought of that. So now if I put these on, okay, that's on.
All right. So I need to describe something for you, so you can understand what it means.
Yeah.
I want you to go back into the armor and get a light armor. I just need to explain it in the best way possible.
Okay.
Choose like padded armor.
Okay.
All right. So this.
Interesting. Okay.
So you can close out the armor screen. So each armor
Okay.
is built between armor and dodge.
Oh, okay.
So if you go back to your attributes, there is armor, dodge, parry, and block. So if you shield, you'll gain some block, which will add to your physical defense.
Okay.
And if you had a parrying weapon, like I think a rapier, you could get bonuses in parrying.
Okay.
Okay, armor and dodge. So each armor set has an armor value and a dodge value. Think of dodge as your dex mod max.
Okay.
So, right now you have a dex of 2, but you're able to use 5 of the dodge. How I understand it your dodge value is 10 plus your dex. So, because your 10 plus your dex would be 12, you could only use 5 of that 12 because of your armor, which seems a little strange.
Interesting. Okay.
But there is armor, like unarmored, which I think has 14 dodge.
Okay.
So if you go back to inventory, take
this
off, go back to attributes, it's 12 because it is 10 plus your dex mod.
Okay.
So that is something to always keep in mind. If you go into your armor again, armor for the compendiums, and go to heavy, just drag on plate mail or something, and go to inventory, and then put that on. It is 20 armor, does not care about your dodge value.
Interesting.
But it is something to always keep in mind because, especially with one of our players, she is so dexterous that I think she's basically going around as unarmored in civilian clothes because all the armors would be either getting her a little bit better, but she now has to deal with the armor mechanic, or she has like a 16 dodge, which is amazing.
Okay.
The reason why she doesn't use it is because she is trying to avoid using the armor mechanic. So I know it sounds strange, but go back into your inventory and then de-equip plate armor, put back on your heavy hides.
Okay.
Go to attributes. You are split between armor and dodge.
Yeah.
If I can't quite remember the full mechanics of it.
Okay.
But armor is not always AC, as the way you think of it.
Okay.
Dodge is though.
Okay.
So if someone tried attacking you and you had like a 16 dodge and 0 armor,
Yeah.
if they roll a 15 or below, it's a complete miss.
Okay.
If you had just armor, like plate mail, you have that 20.
Yeah.
But 18, 19, 18, 17, 16, those are all still hits.
Oh.
But it's glancing. So it's basically, it's a
okay.
reduced damage.
Okay.
So that is something to always keep in mind with armor. Dodge, parry, and block will always increase your physical defense as though it were completely negating the attack.
Okay.
Armor turns it into glancing blows.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yes.
Okay.
It's something that we could get into in battle, but it's a little bit difficult to explain in verbal.
Yeah, yeah. So this 12 defense
Is your
on here.
Is your total
If I was to
defense.
put this on, would be my total defense.
Right.
But that doesn't always mean that I won't get hit.
You're right. Because if it's between that 9 dodge and that 12 defense, it could be glancing blow from armor.
Wow.
It's
Okay. And wow. That is cool.
It's really cool, but it's something that I fully can't say I comprehend yet.
Right.
But that's where we can get into weapons and start putting on things like shields and whatnot.
All right. So I'm going to stick with the heavy hides for now because it's just what my character wants.
Okay.
I just was curious how it plays out a little bit too. So next we're going to go down to equipment.
Weapons, yeah.
Shield is considered a weapon in this.
Right, because it's taking up one of your hands.
I love it. I was picturing like, well, let's look at them because we can. It's just called a light shield, standard, buckler,
I
light shield,
can't
heavy
remember
shield,
what the different qualities
heavy
are.
shield. All right, so I think I'm gonna do a heater shield. Well, can we pull more one up at a time and compare them? There we can. So let's see. These are very similar. What's the difference? Bludgeoning,
So
standard,
heater
bludgeoning.
shield has a weapon property of engaging.
Okay.
I can't remember the exacts of it, but I think engaging increases your engagement value by 1. So pull both onto your character sheet. Let's play
Okay.
with this.
Sounds good. Buckler, heater shield.
All right. So equip the buckler for right now.
Okay. Equipped.
So go back to your attributes.
Okay.
You now have a physical defense of 18 because
Okay.
now you have your 2 block.
2 block.
So
Now, is that 2 block only there if I take an action to block, or is it always got 2 block?
that's a great question. Use the defend action. I've forgotten about this.
Defend.
Okay, that gains the guard condition. That's right. All right, so it will always be there.
Okay.
A guard,
As long as I have it equipped.
right.
Sorry, I just... Okay.
Yes, and then defend. It gives you the guarded condition, which means that enemies who attack you have, I think, 1 or 2 banes applied to their attacks against you. So they
Okay.
have less dice to attack you. Well, less die values to attack.
Okay.
Size.
Yeah, I get what
attack
you're
you
saying. Yeah.
So
Wow.
right now you have an engagement of 1. Engagement is how many enemies. Oh, right. So in this system, well, in Pathfinder 2e, we definitely dealt with flanking.
Yep.
And here it's engagement.
Okay.
So engagement is, instead of positioning,
Yeah.
they care about how many enemies are on you. So if you have 3 wolves on you,
Yeah.
that's counting you as basically flanked a value of 2, because that's 2
Because
of,
I can only engage 1. So it's 2 more than my engagement value.
right.
Wow, that's really cool. I actually really like that.
I like that a lot.
Wow. Okay.
All right, and then we could go back to inventory, over into your
This one.
character,
Thank you.
and then take off the buckler and put on the heater shield. Well, that's heavy highs, but
Oh, thank you.
and then heater shield,
Thank you. I'm trying.
and then attributes. Your engagement went up by 1. So when you're facing those 3 wolves, instead of having flanked of 2 value, it's now just flanked of 1, because your engagement value went up by 1.
I wish the buckler would let you still use your offhand.
I don't follow. What do you mean?
So to cast a spell.
Oh, I mean, I could be wrong on that. Let's just put on a one-handed melee weapon and
I'm just
check
playing.
it out.
My mental went to like, just
Hey,
yeah.
we should test it just to be sure, because I can't
one-handed
say I'm an
melee
expert.
weapons. So I pictured him. Now, I liked him with a spear.
I
But
can't remember.
Also,
Oh, it is a
I'm
one-handed.
gonna throw
That's
a
right.
dagger on there. I'm just kind of just throwing stuff on there because
Who
I
cares
want to.
about value?
I want to. Well, I want to play around with it. What is the value? Is there?
Each item technically has a value, but we looked at it and, well, a price, and we just shrugged shoulders and just said
There
all
is-
there is
I-
basic items.
Well, when I remember reading it, I think you do start with an X amount of like credits, right? Or
I
gold,
think
something.
so.
I remember. It's been a while. but-
I will say that we didn't fully care about that because
right.
we
just
went-
playing around.
Right.
Yeah. So I want to put the spear in my hand.
Right. So
Okay.
equip it. You may be able to cast a spell.
Because it didn't go away over here.
Right. Usually it goes away.
Okay.
Put away your heater shield.
Heater shield. Goodbye.
Put on your dagger.
Putting on dagger. Hello, dagger.
Okay, so it does stay. De-equip your dagger. Equip heater shield. Go to cast a spell.
Oh,
Okay, we
I'm
can't
getting an error.
cast.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
1 free hands to spellcraft.
Right.
Okay. Now let me test something, just for the sake of testing.
Mhm.
If we put the buckler on, and I go to cast a spell, okay, same idea.
Right.
So, I'm gonna have to, and it kind of makes sense in my mind.
We can try going back to that talent tree to see if we can find the one.
I'm
that's...
not worried about it right now.
Okay.
I think per battle, and you can tell me because I haven't done the battle combat yet.
Mhm.
But is it unfeasible to hit with a ranged spell and then step in, draw weapon?
I think a drawing the weapon is one action.
Okay.
So if you hit with, well, range spells normally have 2 actions.
Okay.
Because I think like the gesture of an arrow is a 2-action spell, where touch is a 1 action.
Okay.
So if you did the range spell, you could move with a free movement, and then, I guess, drop your. Well, actually, you wouldn't be dropping anything. Then you could equip an item and then in your round. So you could do exactly what you just said.
So I can always have my shield out
Mhm.
because that's my best friend.
Of course.
I got Shelly the shield. Cast a spell, draw a weapon, and then next round get in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure this out. So now I put on. I want to see what happens when I put on the spear, and I go to my attributes. It did not affect any of my defenses, physical.
Not at all.
Okay, I was just curious because there you said like the rapier adds parrying.
Right.
Okay,
So if you, it has a parry of 1. So I believe when it's equipped, you gain 1 parry.
okay. And then the stiletto, I'm assuming, has engaging. Okay, that makes
Well,
sense.
actually, it has keen. I don't remember what keen
Oh,
is.
keen. Thank you. I don't know either. We'll look at that later. I wanted to see if one of them had blocking for a one-handed weapon. So I'm just going to quickly...
I think the only ones that may have blocking is a two-handed weapon.
Okay. I was just looking. I'm just just...
Oh, like if you could
serious
find like a
curiosities.
dueling dagger or something.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah, almost, yes.
I think that would just be
But
pairing.
that's not there. Yeah, I guess that would be parrying.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So far, my half-orc soldier Bob,
Mhm.
who's got a little bit innate magic in him, carries himself... I'm going to get rid of the buckler. I like the heater shield.
It is pretty nice.
Heavy hide spear and a dagger on his side, and he doesn't always have his spear out, but he always has his shield out. But I can shield bash with my shield. Yes?
You need the talent. Well,
Why is it on
well,
there
actually-
with 2 damage? Out of curiosity.
let's go to the talent tree. Maybe I'm mistaken.
Talent tree
Go to open-
Well, is it part of shield training?
No.
No.
Shield training. If you click on the same one that you have shield
This
training
one
with,
here?
yeah, that's where
Oh,
shield blash is. But if you go down one, let's check out the shield training. No, sorry.
Sorry.
Shield training. So all ranged weapons against you are made with +1 Banes, and you get a +1 skill bonus to attacks which use your
Oh,
shield.
okay. So you can use your shield.
All right, but let's go to shield bash. You're following a strike with your weapon. You could slam your shield into the target, causing the staggered condition.
Okay.
So close. You are perfectly right. I think you can. So if you did a normal strike,
This one?
yeah.
There's no
Oh, right,
target. I
you
thought
need a target,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So on.
But
go
I
ahead.
think you can hit with your shield. However, I don't really get it. But they put a shield with 2 damage with unarmed with 4 damage. So
Oh, so you're almost better off just punching.
right. I
The
think
cat's
it's a
gonna
little
fall for
weird,
that. Okay.
but you know.
All right. So that's good to know. So let's make an adversary. We'll just call it a wolf for now.
I mean, yeah.
What?
No, I was just gonna make a dumb joke about
Oh.
you could just reverse Bob's name and have an arch enemy.
Oh, Arch Bob. Well, I want to just create like a basic wolf. So it's gonna be beast. Okay, interesting. You walk me through it. Sorry, I'm just taking over here.
All right. So an adversary. Honestly, all you really need to think about is the taxonomy and archetype.
Okay.
Those two together create your creature.
Okay.
So if you pull up one of the beast things, it has base abilities and then resistance scaling. Resistance scaling being the vulnerabilities and resistances.
Oh, I love it.
So
Okay.
they are just like a PC, but a little bit more complicated in the taxonomy and the archetype, mainly because those are the only 2 things you need to make an NPC.
Wow.
So, just for the sake of simplicity, let's just use the hyena, but think of it as a wolf.
Yeah.
And then the archetype. So it could be a pack member or a tusker.
Okay. Well, obviously, pack member.
But let's
open
just
it,
pull
right?
it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't remember how the ability scaling works, but it gives it a talent, which adds 1 additional boon to all melee attacks against a target that is flanked.
Okay. Which is anything that beats your
Engagement value.
value. That's so freaking cool.
Right.
So that's as simple as it can be.
Right.
Now,
Well, actually, I should say, technically, there's the size of the creature, which I think is like medium, small.
okay.
And I don't remember if it actually modifies the
Oh,
abilities at all.
wow.
But yes,
Ooh.
minions, normal, elite, and boss. And
Wow.
so, for example, let's just leave it as is.
Okay.
It's level 1. Start increasing the level.
The level.
Yeah.
Boop. 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 Okay, so stuff just starts going up.
Yes, it has a scaling in the background to automatically put it where it needs to for that level and for what type of enemy it is.
Wow.
Whether it is a minion, normal, elite, or boss.
That's fantastic.
Right. So if you wanted to pull out your NPCs that were level 1 before and say, oh, well, these are the, frozen tundra archetypes,
Yeah.
and just they're a little bit more powerful. You could just
Interesting.
pull that out, throw a few more levels on there, and go from there.
Wow.
Right. I haven't fully made NPCs yet.
Right. No, I
but-
just love it. This is really cool. And you can still give them inventory.
You could.
Yeah.
I don't remember what all they do with it. Maybe humanoids will have different things. Actually, they have the playtest. Perhaps there's some NPCs in there that we could pull
I know.
on.
I didn't want to mess with them too much just because.
The Ring of Valor.
Yeah, so they already have like a hyena type and a boar type.
Right.
They have
Anvil and Hammer.
okay,
So-
or ogres. I don't want to give away too much because I want to run some of this with you guys.
Ah, well, I haven't actually really looked at it. But
Okay. Oh, okay, cool. There's a level 8 creature.
Let's go back to the day 2 and look at, I don't know, Hammer
Okay.
or something. Go to inventory. Okay, so he has a
Oh.
hand axe, a longsword, and scale mail. So I guess that does modify some things. And then he has a
Cool.
bunch of actions, which go to talents. I'm actually kind of curious. I wonder how he got the talents. I have no idea. Maybe
You can't even look at the mapping.
Maybe you could put talents on NPCs. I wish my brother were here because he's been doing
No,
that.
is there talent? There is talent over here.
Yes. Now they aren't as they aren't in the wheel, which makes it a little bit weird to
Right,
switch
you'd have to
between
actually
them.
know them.
Right.
But they're here if you wanted to play around with them.
Right. You could just use the search feature too.
Yeah, I'm just clicking on stuff to just click on stuff.
Right. Right.
Because you could go through, check all these out, and build your own unique NPC, essentially.
Exactly.
Now, with that said, if I wanted to build an NPC that was a shopkeeper, would I, first of all? Or is it just roleplay? Well, that's right now. It's the alpha stage, right?
I'm sorry. What?
It's just alpha stage. They're not really having a lot of that anyway, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's the mercantilism skill, but I don't really know too much about it.
Okay.
And then I don't know, when you're dealing with NPCs that you aren't fighting, do you really need a character sheet?
Right. I guess you're right there.
I mean,
Apparently I made 34 actors on this.
ah,
Hi, buddy. Okay. So, taxonomy. Let's do humanoid. Interesting. Human. Archetype. Okay, so this is very basic.
yeah.
That's cool.
So if you wanted to do a human archer, but then next time you wanted to, I don't know, create some sort of Yuan-Ti archer, you could go right ahead. You just make a new taxonomy for them and go right
Now,
for it.
do they have in the create items? They have it already.
Right.
So, let's see here. Test. I'm at this point. I'm just playing around. We'll wrap up here in a minute. I can edit all this.
I suppose so.
Okay. Okay. Oh wow. So this is really getting into the deeper, thicker weeds that I'm not ready to get into mentally.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I wanted to test just to see what it would look like for one little quick combat, and then we can be done. I have Bob here. He's trying to get to this Ring of Valor, but he's run into a wolf. So, he sees the wolf. Wolf sees him. They're in the bushes.
All right.
So then I, like normal, would go into combat, and I just click begin combat.
Yep.
There's no initiative rolls or anything like that.
I think it does initiative when you hit begin
automatically.
combat.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at that.
I mean,
But
if you
did
need
it
to
roll
add,
dice?
yeah. So if you go here, they won't tell you, but it's basically 3d8 plus their modifier.
So I have a question, and I thought I put them on, and it must not matter, or maybe it's not set up yet. Where's my modules? Dice so nice. It's not gonna roll dice.
It doesn't roll dice for the initiative because it does like a grouped
Okay.
roll, which Dice So Nice doesn't pick up on.
Okay.
So, what you can do is begin the combat though.
I did.
So it is Bob's turn.
Okay. So it is Bob's turn, and I think we need some combat music.
All
so
right.
Give me 1 second here while I pull up my combat music and press all the wrong buttons because that's what I love to do. Let's type in the word battle.
I mean, how could you go wrong?
We will do
Rat battle.
rat battle. There it is. Even though it's a wolf. There it is.
I'm just getting PTSD from your battles.
That is one I use a lot with you guys. Alright. So going back to here. Bob is first. We'll close this out. We don't need any of this open anymore. So I'm going to open Bob's character sheet though, right?
Yeah.
So this one's Bob, for people who don't know. Actually, you know what? Better yet, I already have some tokens. We're going to grab a token real quick here. We're going to do, just because I can, we'll do this one. Doesn't even look like them, but just so... Oh, I got to update. Don't I?
Well, right now you do have the token up instead of the actual actor.
Oh, why did it update then?
Well, I mean, like, if you go to the actor tab... Oh, okay, so it does update from there. Good, good.
But if I delete this, it's going to remove Bob from initiative.
That's true. Alright, yeah, so go into token.
Okay, so I can do this way. You probably know the fat... Oh, I pressed the wrong button, didn't I? Whatever.
We have a little bit different ways of interacting with stuff, but they both get this job done.
But just so we know the difference, this is Bob, and this is the wolf.
Yep.
It is Bob's turn first. Bob's gonna open up his character sheet. I want to cast a spell.
All right. So the thing is that if you go to your grimoire, you only have access to the flame room, and the only somatic gesture you have is touch.
Okay, so I'm not gonna cast a spell. I'm gonna move in.
Okay.
So move is one act. It's a
Yeah,
this is
one
the
free action. Which you could just hit use action,
Okay.
and then you move.
Okay.
So if you go to, I think your attributes, let's just double check on something. Okay, cool. Sometimes it will auto calculate some things for you if you're using like a grid, and like if it's
Oh, I still have that much movement.
That's the thing. I think you moved with 4 spaces, so it should have already been a free action. So I don't know why you have more than one.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Can't tell you why.
That's fine. We'll leave that alone for a second.
All right.
All right. So that was a free action to move in.
Yeah.
Now I can cast a spell.
Target the wolf first.
Oh, let's target the wolf first. Target it.
All right.
Now I can cast a spell. I'm
Exactly.
excited. Let me cast a spell. All right. So it's touch, flame. I don't have to touch any of this unless my GM's like, yo, you got a boon for blech, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And if you're doing flank, if you have flanking on the target, it will auto calculate.
Okay, I'm gonna cast a spell.
All right, let's do it.
Dice, yay! We love dice.
It hits.
Help me read this
All right.
quickly here.
So it's kind of a barely hit in a way. So
Okay.
if you expand
Okay.
the hits, and then the damage. So I hate to tell you this, but the wolf apparently has 4 resistance to flame.
Oh,
Don't know why,
okay.
but apparently it does. Oh, I wonder if it has something to do with a hyena. I have no idea.
Whatever. You think it'd be the other way around?
I don't have.
But
that.
we're just playing around with it.
Yeah, I
that's
don't-
fine.
So
So technically, I actually did.
1 overflow of damage, and then base damage of 6. So touch, it is a 6 base damage.
Okay.
If you did a gesture of an arrow, it is a 10 base damage.
Okay.
So it's better in that regard. Arrow does have 2, 2 actions to cast though.
Okay.
Something to keep in mind. But regardless, if you go into the attack, your dice total plus your ability bonus, which is I think it was your intellect, well, the average between your intellect and dexterity.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
And then I don't know there would be skill and enchantment bonus,
For now. Yeah.
but you need to beat at 16. You got a 17. You have 1 overflow damage,
Oh.
which flows into the damage.
Okay.
You had a base damage of 6,
Okay.
and then a 1 overflow, so 7.
And then
but
it
had
resisted 4.
exactly.
So I did 3.
exactly.
So if I hit confirm,
Yep.
okay. Wow. So I lost a focus and an action,
Right.
and it lost some of its health.
Right. So if you go into your available actions for cast a spell, it says 1 plus actions, and then and then 1 plus focus points.
And that changes per what I try to do.
Right. So it depends on what somatic gesture you use and meta magic inflection.
Oh, okay.
Meta magic inflection could be something like quickened.
Okay.
So you could use 2 focus points with but lower the action amount by 1.
Okay.
So you could actually do a quicken touch for 0 actions.
Okay.
Something to keep in mind.
Oh, wow.
But it would turn an arrow into 1 action.
So,
But-
go ahead.
I was just going to say, but also, at the very bottom of your available actions, you'll see Touch of Flame. it keeps your last spell used and puts it into your available
I love
actions.
it. So I could technically do this again,
You could,
but I realized that this particular wolf grew up by a volcano,
apparently.
and so I'm gonna just punch it.
All right, you could, yes. So you could, you have it targeted. You're good to go. You
I don't
could
have to change it. Well, what if I wanted to use the shield?
So, shield is offhand strike, and I did
Okay.
send you that
Yes, you
screenshot.
did. Yes.
So, because
But for now, we'll just use this.
right, so
Okay.
it will be using your unarmed.
All right, I'm punching.
And for the audience, it is the long story short is you can't use it offhand to attack unless you have the talent for it. They are looking into it and thinking about changing it.
Okay. So once again, 14 plus 2 is to 16, and I had to beat a 14, right?
Right,
Overflow was 2, base damage was 4, so I ended up doing 6, right?
exactly.
So I'm down in action, but that didn't cost a focus.
Right, because casting a spell costs a focus. A reactionary strike would cost a focus, but regular attacking does not.
So this 32 health is quite a bit.
It is. However, you are facing a normal beast. It is not
so
a
if I did
minion.
this, doesn't matter now because it's on the field.
But its
Whoops,
defenses
nice.
go. Wait, no, its defenses don't go down. What does it do?
Well, maybe because I'm in combat with it.
I don't know.
I just
honestly,
messed its health up and everything. So.
Let's see. It did 6 and 3, so minus 9, so 23.
So if I just type in -9, what happens? Oh, it kills it.
Aha!
It's dead.
Success.
Hurrah! But from this page, you can do -9 here.
I hope so.
Let's try it.
Wow,
Okay.
you did so much more damage than I thought you did.
All right, so that's cool. I have one action left,
Right.
and I felt like me fisting it was better. So I'm gonna do it again. Okay.
All right.
So that's
Pretty nice
a
hit.
little bit more damage.
So
Ooh.
9.
Now I'm out of actions.
Exactly. So it would now be the wolf's turn.
All right. So there's the wolf's turn. So now I'm gonna open up
The wolf.
the wolf. How come I gained? Sorry, I just noticed I gained a disengagement strike. Oh, is that your attack of opportunity?
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, so that automatically put that on my character sheet. That's cool. So now we're at the GM's side. We're just going to play around. The wolf's just gonna go ahead.
But you should turn your target onto Bob instead of itself.
Thank you. Boom. Let's see how Bob does. Hey,
This isn't gonna look good.
Bob's gonna get hurt.
Bob might die.
That's all right. That's part of the stream. Killing characters. So that's a glance.
Right. So if you expand it,
Okay.
you'll notice that it 17 out of 18.
Okay.
Because of his armor, it is a glancing blow.
Oh,
So
wow.
what it does is underflow damage, which in this case you could say is an overflow,
Yeah.
negative. And then the base damage of the strike, which is 4 from the.
Okay.
So,
That's cool. So it just I'm still gonna get hit for 3 points,
right,
but it weakened a little bit.
right.
So now the wolf is gonna do that again. That's really cool. And that time, oh, go ahead.
I just realized maybe instead of attacking that last time, maybe we should have done a defend action. That would
Okay,
have been a good
that's
way
too
of a
late though,
tutorial,
right?
Yeah, but it seems to
Well, it has an action left still,
because you haven't confirmed the last one.
so I can delete that.
Oh, no, I was saying that we should have done so for Bob, or we
Oh.
could do it for the wolf. That actually would be a great idea.
Right.
So yeah, delete that.
Okay.
We never saw it in the first place. Use action. So then you would confirm it against the guarded condition.
Oh.
All attacks now from Bob
Yeah.
will suffer a -1 Bane.
Okay.
Why did it lose the guarded condition? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Oh, because it rolls initiative every round. I forgot about that.
Oh, so at the top of the initiative, everybody's guard drops.
It's
Oh.
re-initiative
So it's a wolf's turn. That's why it gained 3 actions back.
because it
okay.
lost the guarded condition.
So we'll do a strike.
Poor Bob.
Poor Bob. Oh, so that's not terrible. Then strike,
Yeah, strike again.
and then defend.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. Okay.
I forgot about that. So when
Bob's
you
getting hurt.
so when you're using actions, especially when it's like a great swords, I think they are unwieldy. So you have 2 Banes on initiative And just remember, that's every round.
Wow. That's really awesome.
Wait.
Oh.
Maybe we should equip
Wait,
our weapon.
Why do he lose his off? I'm sorry, did I miss something? Oh, I didn't confirm it. Shoot. Oh, whoops. Is it too late though? No. Cool.
All right. So maybe we should equip our weapon.
So talents is gonna be inventory. There we are.
Yeah. So let's equip our spear.
But that costs an action.
Right.
But that's okay.
But our base damage went to 8 instead of 4
Okay.
because we went from unarmed to spear. So now we make a strike. We use our main weapon, and
Oh, dodged. Okay, because of his defending.
right, because this particular wolf is only using dodge. Apparently, fur doesn't matter. But so if you go back to strike, instead of hitting an attack right away, you will notice that it let's see.
Let's see a bane.
Oh, guarded might be versus the first strike.
Oh, let's see what happens.
All right.
Nope.
Okay, so it just auto does it in the background.
But that one hit,
right.
and so that's a confirmed strike.
Oh, and make sure to confirm the miss as well, and it will lower the action.
Oh, I gotta remember that that's gonna hit me up as the confirmed.
Oh yeah, I think there is something in game settings that we could change to auto confirm stuff if you really trust us enough.
Well, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Might be good at first to just for our mindsets to confirm. So Bob's turn's over.
Yeah.
So that re-rolls initiative. Now
And-
Bob's turn goes first, which is probably good, but it still has a guard condition.
Why did it get
Oh,
that?
because it didn't have its turn. Last time it started off, so it had its
Ooh.
turn, so it dropped it. But it keeps its turn until its turn.
I guess
Or
each.
keeps its guard until okay.
Okay, so it isn't a once per. Well, it isn't once per enemy. It's once
Till
per
your next turn.
enemy. Okay. Yeah, once per enemy
Yeah.
until it's your turn.
So let's see.
Fascinating.
Oh, Bob is having a hard time hitting. So
That
Bob
makes
is
guard
gonna strike.
so much better than
It
I
does,
thought.
yeah. So Bob just cannot. Oh, there's a hit.
Ah, that might be it.
Oh, yeah.
It is
Oh,
the
Bob
end.
takes that wolf and puts the spear right through him and drops him to the ground.
Yeah, because peace is never an option in this household.
Nope. We tried. So, wow, that is really cool. So today we went over a lot. And so like I've told you, I've read through everything. I like what I saw when I was reading, but I haven't implemented it. That's what the whole test is supposed to be. So now I'm doubly looking forward to next week when we're actually going to play it. That being said, I feel a lot more confident. So I really appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for helping me make an adversary. That was really cool. And then building a character. It's really simple, but it can become as complicated as you want it to be, really.
But regardless of how complicated you want it to be, the math will always be your friend.
I love it. Now, is there anything in the system, before we end here, that's like a legend point or a hero point or anything like that, or not yet?
Actually, I don't think there is.
No metagaming kind of, okay.
No.
Which is fine.
Yeah, honestly, it made our games a little bit more interesting because I feel there is a psychological thing with hero points. Because it's like,
Yes.
if you do have hero points, the GM will think, oh, well, this encounter won't be that bad or whatnot because your enemies, your heroes will have that upper hand with legend points or hero points, however you want to call it, into the system. So you could make things a little bit more difficult and have that dramatic moment. I mean, it could still fail dramatically, but in this system, you kind of always have to have that in the back of your mind that it maybe not be as dramatic, but it's still very deadly.
Yeah. Very interesting. I am excited to see what they do with this system. It has a lot of potential for sure. I want to keep playing, but it is getting late, and I know that I would like to tuck my kiddos in. So I'm excited. Is there anything else you want to share with me before we get off?
That's a great question. Can you pull up the compendium again just to see?
Absolutely.
All right, so there's the system rules.
Yeah, they're all in here.
Yeah,
And this is free to anybody now who owns Foundry BTT.
that's exactly right.
Okay.
Oh, okay. For talents, I was wrong on something. At the very top, there's adversary talents. They have specific ones.
Oh, well, they only have these two right now.
So I think what might be is that you can combine adversary talents and talents together for your NPCs.
Okay.
So, for example, if only an adversary is supposed to have it, you're making up a talent or something.
Yep.
You just put it in there.
Okay.
If you have regular talents, they'll be in
Okay.
here.
Awesome.
Okay. Other than that,
Everything. I mean, this is alpha state. I mean, this is very little touched in a way.
right, because they don't have like regular items in here.
Yeah.
I think I talked about it before in the Discord. Got a sack of coins, just put it in there as an item.
Yeah. You did
It was a weapon category, so you just got to use it every now and again.
That's so great. And there's talismans in here.
That's what they are. Yeah, talismans.
That's your focus.
Right. So, for example, let's say instead of using a shield, grab a arcane orb, ceremonial dagger, whatever suits your fancy. Well, something one-handed though. Don't go for the staff.
Okay, I think it's gonna be the orb then.
All right. So, de-equip your shield. Equip that arcane orb. You gain a new action called Recover Focus. From what I understand, I could be wrong on this. It uses 2 actions to regain 1 focus. If you had a talisman that was a 2-hander, you still use 2 actions but regain 2 focus.
Okay.
Because these aren't really meant for hitting people.
Yeah. But you could.
You could.
I'm gonna hit you with my Gwynmore. I mean, it has bludgeoning.
True. And I think the base damage will always be 2 at the least.
It's interesting that the ceremonial dagger is corruption.
I think it's kind of interesting because
You're almost like a little bit of your energy.
Mm-hmm.
Ether hand. What do you know what that is?
Either hand.
Oh gosh. All right, I am done. It's been a long day. Oh, that's awesome. And then I just wanted to take a quick look what they got here in range.
Yeah, because I think most ranged, like a short bow or a heavy crossbow, they might be 2 hands to attack.
Yeah.
Basically, long story short, a 1-hander takes 1 action to attack. A 2-hander takes 2 actions to attack.
Okay.
Something to keep in mind.
So I'm gonna get a dart gun and a shield.
If you so desire.
Is there penalties?
As far as I know, no.
Oh, ambush.
That will be in the compendium somewhere.
Awesome. Probably in the
System rules. Equipment.
Equipment.
Weapons.
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 Oh, there's a quality tier?
Oh, that's right.
Oh, boy, that's exciting. I just got
All right.
shivers.
So, quality.
Yeah.
That increases or lowers damage depending on the quality. And then for enchantment tier, that the higher enchantment it is, increases the attack. So quality is damage, enchantment is attack.
Okay.
And then there is special properties, which I don't remember. Oh, go up a little bit.
I just saw the shields.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This is what popped up to me right here.
Yeah, exactly.
I could have been doing more damage with my shield.
Well, I was actually looking at the special. A heavy shield is +4 block.
Yeah. Interesting.
And an attack is just strength.
Yeah.
A light shield is attack of strength and dex.
Yeah.
Spell focus is intellect, presence, wisdom.
So technically, I think my character would actually carry a heavy shield. It would actually make more sense.
Probably.
Because that's the same as a punch. No. Because the beef damage of the punch was 4.
Yeah.
So that would balance out.
Yeah. I don't know why you would use a light shield. Maybe there are certain talents that depend on light versus heavy shield.
Right. Well, if your dexterity build with a shield.
Oh, that's right.
That would probably be where that would scale well with your character.
Right, because then you would actually have a pretty decent attack if you had dex but no strength.
This is really interesting.
Okay. Good.
So those are the weapon categories. So there's a lot of little things to learn here. But I really enjoy it. Okay, here's the enchantment stuff.
Right.
Okay, this is like a +1, +2, +3 in a sense.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, special properties. Yeah, this is where we were wanting to look at.
Blocking, versatile, thrown.
Versatile.
Okay.
Keen.
Capable of
Critical.
achieving deadly strikes.
Critical hit and critical failure. Totally forgot. 6 above the score is a critical hit. 6 below is a critical failure.
Oh.
In theory, that doesn't have any impact on what you do, but there are talents that could take advantage of a critical hit or take advantage of a critical miss.
Okay. Ambush. This weapon easily concealed and retrieved quickly. This weapon may be drawn
For free,
for free
during your own turn. Or
Which weapon was I looking at that had ambush? The
Dart?
blow gun.
I
The
think-
dart gun.
yeah.
Blow dart gun. I think is what they meant. Yeah. Wow. That's something you want to consider. With my build that I was building, the dagger might be more worth carrying for a quick like. Well, no, because I had to touch with the spell. So I could blowgun, de-equip the blowgun, and then get in there and spell strike.
Could.
I'm just playing around. I'd like to test systems. I like to push them.
Oh yeah.
So-
I mean, for the most part, we had it so that we created like free level 6 characters and just start messing around and
Yeah.
seeing what we could do.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it looks
Here's
like
some of the armor stuff that would be good for me to look at.
yeah. So there's always that dodge
Mm,
armor.
I'm excited. Bulky and organic.
Okay, so it looks like the quality and enchantment both affect armor bonus.
Yep.
Okay.
That's cool. Wow. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome.
And being down here. So look forward to next week, guys. Like I said, 6:30 p.m. We're hoping to stream our playthrough, play test, play around with Foundry VTT in our new office, our new studio with all of our new setup. We're looking forward to it. It is beautiful. I cannot wait to show it off to you.
It's pretty nice.
It is enjoyable. Dan, you are awesome for putting in that work. You're also awesome for letting me try to run a stream from my office on YouTube. So, thank you to everybody who joined. Once again, if you're interested in becoming part of our wonderful Forest family, like he is, you can join our Patreon. We do all kinds of things, play video games with each other, play TTRPGs together, hang out, chat, seek advice. I mean, there's all kinds of crazy stuff. Help GMs out. If you're a GM, get in here. Well, there's a cat. We'll sell you a cat for free. Actually, we'll pay you. No, I'm just kidding. Not this one, though. He's cool. No. But, yeah. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful night. It's nighttime. Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Have a wonderful night.